So this is going to mark week 2 and the start of a not so great start to our whole project, if I'm being honest. As many of you guys are probably aware, Friday the market kind of jumped off a cliff, and today it's not looking super great either. Now, I want to discuss a little bit about what might have happened, what some of the articles are talking about, and the big thing, the reason we're all here is, did our portfolio that ChatGPT created, did it survive? Do we have any issues? Did we lose all of our money? Well, this week we're going to check in and we're going to see what's happening. And then we're going to talk to GPT and see, what do we do about this? Maybe we need to sell some stocks. Maybe we need to try and reallocate some of our positions to better prevent any more major issues from happening to us. So let's go ahead first, before we dive into the update of our portfolio, let's kind of talk a little bit about what happened on Friday. And I want to do that by looking at an Associated Press article. So let's go ahead and take a peek at that real quick. So the very first thing we're going to look at is this big, scary headline that we see right here. The Dow falls nearly 750 points. Whew, big number, big drop. And let's go ahead and see a little bit about what might be going on. So the article, and I will link this below, is basically going to be talking about how everybody's a little bit concerned about these tariffs and some of the policies from this current administration and how it might actually be affecting the stock market and business and any kind of sales, commerce, whether it's coming into the country, going out of the country, whatever. So it says that it sank 1.7%. That's a pretty sizable drop, especially in one day. Today doesn't really look like it's doing super great either, but it also hasn't continued on that nosedive, so hopefully we're in a good spot. So we can see that this was apparently one of the worst days in the last 2 months. Now, I guess that means for the year to date, since it's only been 2 months for this year. So we're gonna keep on looking through, and I don't really see any major things that are gonna tell us, oh boy, we're gonna be in for any kind of improvement. Now, my opinion on a lot of this is that most of these articles are talking about speculation and people who are way more invested than us, right? We are the normal people. We just kind of get screwed with whatever they're doing on the big trades. So they see something that we probably don't necessarily see, but that's why we're going to see if we can hedge our bets by using some AI. So they're expecting prices to go higher, obviously. You know, if we have inflation continuing to grow, it's going to make everything more and more expensive, which makes it harder and harder for all of us to spend our money. So this article does not really seem to give us a whole lot of hope when it comes to an improvement on the market, but it does kind of discuss a little bit about what might be happening. So I think it's interesting that the big ones were Walmart. You can see here that it says that the biggest S&P 500 index, 3 out of every 4 stocks fell down. That's a huge drop, especially because the S&P usually is going to be all of your big name companies, the ones who don't usually get screwed by making really stupid mistakes. But, you know, it is what it is. So, the moment of truth, the reason we're all here, let's go ahead, pull up our portfolio, see what happened, and then we need to discuss what are we going to do about it. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. I just got done updating all of our numbers, and it does not look good. So based off the AP article, we already know that the market in total has had a 1.7% drop. Now, that's spread out over everybody else in the market. So some people might do better, some people might do worse. Leave a comment below, and I want you to think about, how did you think that we did? And I'll give you about 5 seconds to write that comment and leave that below, because we didn't do very good at all. No, we actually dropped by about 5%. Let's look at what we have, and we're gonna kind of see what our biggest losers are, and then we're gonna ask GPT to give us some help to figure out, what do we do about it? As you can see, everybody on our portfolio, all except for Apple, for some reason, had a significant drop. So all of our normal ones didn't have a terrible drop, but some of the ones like, you know, Block, Palantir Technologies, even PayPal had significant drops. You have Shopify down a bunch, you have Amazon down a bunch, you got Meta down a bunch. Everybody is losing their mind. So we can see now, we started last week with $10,000. We lost $500. So now what do we do? I think the next thing that we need to do is get this exported, put it over into GPT, have it analyze these numbers and tell us what does it think we should do about this. I'm not super confident in where we're at right now. I do think that we're gonna have to get a little bit more risky in order to get that number back. But with the stock market, we gotta let it sit, we gotta let it do its thing. It's gonna shake up for a bit, but some of these numbers will probably come back, so we shouldn't rush too fast. But let's go ahead and see what GPT has to say, and then we'll go from there. I don't know how many of you guys know this or not, but with GPT, you're actually able to drag and drop documents, whether it's an Excel sheet, Word, PDF, whatever. You're allowed to actually drop it into the GPT, and it can actually analyze what's going on. So I've exported that Google Doc into an Excel file, and now let's see if our good friend GPT Infest can actually tell us what to do. So we're gonna tell it, please, because we gotta be nice in case our AI overlords decide one day to get rid of us little squishy meat bags. Please look at this portfolio and give me some advice on what to do. This can include selling or holding positions. We need to make it where we have the highest chance of seeing a solid return on our money. All right, so we're gonna give it a second. We're gonna let it think and see what it comes up with. Leave a comment below. What would you have asked GPT in this circumstance using our data? Maybe you can take the Google Sheet that we have, download it, ask GPT yourself, see if it gives you a similar answer. I do think it's fun to see how sometimes asking the same question gives you different results, but sometimes asking different questions entirely will give you basically the same result. All right, so let's see here real quick. What's it doing? All right, so we can see that it definitely is pointing out all of the big losers that we had. You can see we had quite a lot of big losers. And let's see what its recommendations are. All right. So it's advising that we consider selling our biggest losers. I don't know. Do you think we ride this down like you would if you're gambling? Probably not. So let's take a look. So it wants us to sell Palantir. It wants us to consider selling Block, if not a little bit of it. It says cybersecurity is strong long-term, but the stop loss is around 10 or 12% down. Might have been wise. Yeah, that would be wise, but wise wouldn't be using AI. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. All right, Shopify. If it breaks down further, reconsider. Okay. It tells us to hold for NVIDIA, Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Meta. Makes sense. Those are big name companies. And then it wants us to go ahead and reinvest. Okay. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to sell our positions in the ones that it told us to. So we're going to liquidate that. So we're going to sell off our positions in section 1 with the remaining money. Where should we put it? So let's see what it tells us to do. Oh, and obviously we have to rate GPT. It's doing a great job, so we'll give it a 5-star review. Unless it keeps costing us more money, then it's all bets are off. All right, so it's telling us to consider looking at Progressive, whatever fintech is, Rivian. I've heard bad things about Rivian, but maybe that's just things I've heard on the ether. And then let's see here. All right. Okay, so looking through this, it's basically telling us, yeah, sell off our losses, and then we're going to allocate the remaining funds into here, and let's see what happens. So I'm going to update the spreadsheet real quick, and I'll see you in 2 seconds. Now we've gone ahead and put everything back where it belongs. So we've had to do a little bit of changing of the formula, and this might be prettied up later on as we go. I still need to figure out exactly how we want our sheet to look. So we've got our 4 sell-off positions based off of GPT's recommendation. We're still down $516. We'll round up to $517. We've lost a good amount of money, but now we also have put in our new stock trades. So now we have to wait. But while we're waiting, I think we should also ask GPT, what does it think happened? What do you think's going on here? And why do you think we lost so much on those 4 stocks? So let's go ahead and ask it real quick. What does it think? And hopefully it can give us some insight. So let's ask real quick. We have GPT open. What do you think caused our major losses with those particular stocks? Let's see what she says. So the one thing I like about this premium version of GPT is that it actually Googles things and it'll kind of help come up with what's going on. And on top of that, I really like that it will leave the direct link where you can click it and go to see what happens. So let's take a look here real quick. So reports indicate that the Trump administration has directed the Pentagon to implement significant defense budget cuts over the next 5 years. Well, that would explain why we had such a significant drop on that particular project. Let's take a look at Block. Block's recent fourth quarter results fell short of market expectations, leading to a sharp decline in stock price. That means they're not doing too great. All right, so we're 2 for 2 on not so good situations. Let's see what CrowdStrike's got going on. It's a high growth tech stock. It's been susceptible to broader market sell-offs, especially when investors shift away from riskier assets. That might just be because everybody's getting a little bit spooked on the whole economy. And then post-pandemic, the e-commerce sector has experienced a deceleration in growth, affecting Shopify's stock performance. Okay, well, now we know. So let's hope that the next 3 picks that GPT's given us are actually going to be a little bit better than these ones. I think this is a really fun project, and hopefully you've been enjoying this little bit with me as well. Pretty much every week, what we're going to do is on Monday, we're going to take a look and see what happens. And ideally, we see some kind of growth in our portfolio, and hopefully it's not just consistent losses, because that would be bad. That would be really bad. If we're able to see any kind of positive growth after this 6-month project, we'll go ahead and maybe see about putting our own money in there and see what happens. Again, this project is a 6-month project. We're going to basically let it go every Monday, see what ChatGPT says, see what kind of suggestions it has, do whatever it tells us to do. Buy, hold, sell, whatever. The ball's in the computer's court, and we're going to see what happens. If you enjoy videos like this, hit that like button, hit subscribe. Next week, this will be gone. My experiment is going to be coming to an end on Friday, and I'm not a huge fan of it. So this little fella's going away, and we're going to go back to exactly how we used to look in our normal style. I look forward to talking to you guys next time. Next week, we'll have another video for the AI stock portfolio, but throughout the week, we're going to have a variety of shorts, a variety of videos covering all of the topics I know you guys love. I'll see you guys next time.